Welcome back to the Niagara Learning Channel. I'm currently working on another project at the moment, and it's a first floor boiler room for a leisure centre, and I thought I'd just start recording this just to show you what I have done here. Basically, we've got the scheduler and the safety, and then we've got a flow temperature there for CPO4 and a return temperature and a set point. The reason I've got the set point there and the loop is we've got a control valve that we need to open and close. So all I've done here is put the set point in there of 62 degrees, which is adjustable by the client. I've took the minimum of this to 2 temperatures flow in return, put it into my control variable, my loop point, the control variable in my loop point, set the prop to 2, set the int to 1, and of course the loop enable is from the scheduler, and we're just using a lead lag runtime, and the feedback for example the primary pumps, HWS heating pumps 1, 2 flow and 3 and 4 flow. I'm just taking the flow switch for my feedback, and you should see it's the same one. That's 3 and 4 flows there. As for the secondary pump, we've got the flow there, secondary pump's flow, but there is another one, this one here, CPO4, our feedback, because we don't have the flow as a point coming in. All I've done is the output that we are sending out to the pumps, I've just put an OR gate in there and attached that to the flow. Maximum runtime I've done for 7 days. So if this was running all the time, after 7 days it'd change over. Hence, that's why I've put this off delay here of 30 seconds. So that when it's changing over, we've still got a pump running for at least. So yes, both of them will run. If this one starts immediately, say we're running pump 1 and pump 2 starts immediately, they will both run for 30 seconds. Well, pump 2 will carry on running, but pump 1 and pump 2 will run together for 30 seconds. But if we've got an emergency stop, this will still carry on counting the off delay of 30 seconds. So what I wanted to do is, if someone hits the emergency stop, we actually stop this counting. And the easiest way that I do that is by putting an AND gate in its output, and that's what I'm doing at the moment. So I will call that primary HWS P1. In fact, I'll just put go underscore P1, and that is going to be the pump, and then our safety straight into there, which would normally be true. Just in case it's the opposite way round and I'm not having to rewrite the logic, I think what I'm going to do is put in a NOT gate here. I don't think it's going to be the opposite way round, but you never know. Revert the signal. And we still take it from there at the moment. It's pointless really doing that. Forget it. I know it's going to be true is going to be healthy because it's a fail-safe. So we put that into there. Views AX slot sheet. EMG stop. And enable. So if it is through its 30-second off delay, we're still going to stop the pump. Let's just open up that a little bit so we can see maybe that, and take that across to there and put it up one. So let me just cut these out. Delete, duplicate, P2, duplicate. They've all gone into fault. So we've got the enable on at the moment because I took that out of there. So they will clear themselves within an hour. It's on here. Oh, is there clear alarm time 1 hour. So that one into there, that one into there, that one into there, and then our safety into there, into there, into there, and our outputs into there. Let's do our secondaries. So that's sec pump 1, and that's our sec pump 2. Enable, enable, safety, safety, in there and in there, and then duplicate that, rename sec to CP04, rename, just won't select one of them, rename P1, rename P2, that into there, that into there, out into there, out into there, and then fault into emergency stop there, and fault into emergency stop there. This here is just a text block that I made so that I mean, in fact, there's not that many now. That creates a problem with the wire sheet. So in fact, I'll delete that text block, leave it as it is. I mean, if any text block wants putting on, it'd probably be something like over that safety. So block but it's pointless really now. Okay, so that's the HWS pumps, standard VT. Again, I haven't done the safety and the hands there to stop the pumps, and really we should. So let's just take 2 of them, copy, VT, expand that out, paste, take out that, delete, put that into enable, put that into enable, rename that. I can take out all that lot. Take out all that lot. Put that into there. Put that into there. And then take my fault, emergency stop, into there. And that's that one done. If I control key C, copy, CT, for us constant temperature pumps. VT was variable temperature, by the way, but I think you already know that. Paste. And paste again because it's 3 and 4. Put the enables in. Move that down one. Put the emergency stops in. Number safety. In, 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 up one and to the left. So that's that one done. Extracts, well, there is no run-on delay on the extracts. It stops, so we're not doing anything with the extracts. We'll leave that as it is. Now gas boilers, which I haven't started the logic for yet. So let's start the logic for the gas boilers. The IO. So we've got boiler flow, boiler return. Paste that in there. I'll take out the alarm and the history in a moment. P1, P2, so these are my boiler heating pumps. Duplicate. I've duplicated it. They'll be somewhere down the bottom then now. Paste. Now I don't want them because I just want normal. So first of all, where I've duplicated, let's delete them. And then we need to delete these. And we just need to put normal blocks in there. But what I'll do is, seeing we've got something here, I'll just take one of them, paste, and this was primary heating pump 1. Duplicate primary heating pump 2. Right, what other inputs and outputs have we got? Where was we? Was it primary heating pump? Them two done. That's all done. Heating pump flows. Take that, copy, paste. So we know we're going to have mismatch alarms there that we'll be putting in there. Nothing more there. Boiler room supply we need to check that it's running. So that's the first thing to put on. And then boiler number 1, 2 and 3. And then we've done all them. And them. And we've done all them pumps. So that's it. with our IO. No gas valve apparently on this IO. So copy them, paste them. No, don't want to do that because again I don't want the discrete totalizer in them because I've already got them once. I don't want them twice. So duplicate, boiler room, supply. Let's put some underscores in there. In fact, we can take underscores out, it's only in our logic. Boiler room, supply, fan. And then we've got boiler number 1, boiler number 2 and boiler number 3, enable. Boiler, enable, number 1. Just separate them. Control key C. In fact, I don't know why I did a control key C because I can just duplicate. Duplicate and duplicate. So they're all my outputs. These are all my inputs. Nothing else. On the points, on the IO points. So let's composite this now. Some gas boilers. Right click it. Composite. In fact, before I composite, let me just open it up. And this and this I'm going to put down further because that's our outputs. So these are our inputs and then everything else is our outputs. And probably in order: boiler, supply, fan, prove running, primary heating pump 1, 2. Mind you, we don't need the boilers. We don't need the boiler supply fan to run the pumps. So, but we certainly do need it to run the boiler. So that's basically the order: primary pumps, boiler supply fans, proved running. And I don't have a proof, do I? Because that's just an output. I don't know whether that boiler fan is running or not. I have no flow switch. I have no pitot with a DP sensor. So all I've got to go on is the enabling the logic, which isn't very good. Not good at all for this one. That could be a problem. That could be a problem. So in my logic, just to cover myself, I am going to put another input in, even though we don't have it here, for proving DP for a boiler supply fan before I start putting boilers on. So if I duplicate that one and call it boiler supply flow, and now all I'm going to do here with this before I composite it is do the renaming. So rename, take out the DiO2 at the end, rename, because I just copied them across from the IO that I've done. So let's just rename them, and then I'm going to take out the history and the alarms on these points because we've already got them, we don't need them twice. Delete them, delete, delete, and there's no more, because these are just blocks that we put in. Oh, there we are, there is one more. Delete, and then there's no more. Right, I need to reorder this again now, because I've put the boiler supply flow switch in, even though we don't have an input for it, but I wanted to add that into my logic, and they can do whatever they do on site, but I would advise them put in a boiler supply flow switch in the logic. Okay, so there's all my inputs first and then my outputs. So now I will composite, scheduler in 10, safety in 10, which is just emergency stops, boiler flow in 10, boiler return in 10, that one's in 10 for the flow switch, that's in 10 for the other flow switch, pump 2, and that's our new one we added, supply fan, and then all these are going to be outputs. Pump 1 out, pump 2 out, boiler room supply fan out, boiler room enable, enable, enable. So we've now got all these dots going to the points going to the outside of the folder now, so we can join them up after we've named them. AX slot sheet. Scheduler, we'll get the error, I'm not bothered about that, just saying it's duplicated. EMG stops, we won't get any error there. And then it was boiler flow. And I'm only remembering this because of me putting this in order. I can see what they are down here, so I don't have to think, oh, what was that point? Hence, that's why I put them in order and open up this folder. Well, I'm not going to put P2, I'll just put, yeah, I will put P2, heating, pump 1. P2, heating, pump 2. I better put flow, better I? Flow. Flow. And then boiler supply fan. Flow. I mean, what does a DP cost across the fans? I know we're going to have to wire them in, but you're looking at £6, £7, or a tenner, and then you've got to wire it in back to the panel, and hopefully we've got our spare input. But it's quite important that. Right, so the next thing was primary heating pump 1. Primary heating pump 1, enable, enable, control key C, pump 2, boiler room supply fan, enable, enable, boiler 1, 2, 3. Right, so now we will link mark this block once I've just put in the heating scheduler, the emergency stops, link mark, and then let's look at this IO. Boiler flow, link 2, out, boiler flow, boiler return, link 2, out, boiler return. Then we've got heating pump 1 flow, link 2, out there, link 2, out there. Boiler supply fan we're not going to see because we don't have the point for it, but link from for the output to enable it is there. Link from gas boilers, enable 1 to there. Link from 2 to there. Link from 3 to there. Right, so that's them all linked. We've just got to write the logic. Now, what I just was thinking when I was going through the points is, do we put the outside air temperature into here, and then we have a summer set point where I'm just thinking we don't use the gas boilers, but I know that is feeding air handling units. So yes, we may be a case that we want to de-hum if they're going that advanced, i.e. we've got high humidity, we cool the air that's coming into the AHU with a cooling coil if it's got one, and then we reheat it back up. Yes, we're using energy, yes, we're using heat in the summertime, but I don't think they're that advanced, the air handling units, so I don't think, I think the gas boilers will, no, the gas boilers are never going to be off, because we've got pools, we've got a small pool and a large pool, swimming pools, so no, the gas boilers are never going to be off. So we don't want to turn the gas boilers off if it's 28 degrees outside. So no, we're not going to put outside there. I've answered my own question there now. So I don't know whether they want to use the boiler return or the boiler flow. I think they would probably use the boiler return as their control variable, and boiler flow is just there for information only, I think. I could put a minimum there and take both of them into a minimum and just use the minimum of both of them, which of course is going to be the boiler return. So let's just, there's no harm in doing it, we can always take it out. So minimum, so min temp, put that into there, put that into there. That's our minimum temp. So we want, so once all they are true, what can we do? We can basically do the primary heating pump 1 and 2, can't we? And get the pumps running first. We don't need to run the boiler supply fan, but we do need to get the pumps running. And there's our flows. So what I'm going to do at the moment is take from my other logic that I've written, not that one, and take that, 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 and that. Copy. And go back into my boiler flow logic, paste. Get rid of them. And this is primary pumps. Primary. P1, P2. That's all good. And we put that into there, our in. And then we will come out of there into that. Out of there into that. Rename. Primary 1 and 2 enabled. Probably don't use it, but oops, I'll still put that there. Because we've got flow switches, so we probably won't use it at all. Put that into there, like so. Move that across. Right, so emergency stop into there, and emergency stop into there. The runtime and the feedback delay. Well, I'll tell you what we can do is we cut that out there, delete, and we'll put that, no, we'll leave it as it is, Control key Z, and we'll just duplicate it, because we've only got one feedback delay and we've got 2 flow switches. Flow. And we'll put that into there, put that into delete, put that into there, put that one into there, and take that and put that to the feedback. Now the runtimes, link mark. Now we know I've put these in my I/O. So primary pumps, heating, not flow. It's an output, here we go, that one. So link to, and elapsed time A, link to, elapsed time B. A and B times are in there. Maximum runtime 7 days. So that's that done, apart from mismatch alarms. So we might as well do our mismatch alarms while we're here. And then that's the pumps completed with. We could do a mismatch alarm for each individual pump. We don't need to go. So we actually don't need that if we're doing each pump. Right. So I have got that. I think, here we go. Mismatch there. Copy that. Paste. Rename. Primary P1. Primary mismatch P1. Rename. Primary weight P1. Primary pump mismatch alarm. Mismatch alarm, primary pump 1. What does the text say in the alarm? Mismatch error. Okay, good, it's not mentioning pump 1 or pump 2. Duplicate that. That'll be for pump 2. And then we've got our flow that we need in there. Flow for pump 1, flow for pump 2, enable for pump 1, enable for pump 2. And there's our mismatch alarms for our pumps. Put that up there. That's that done. And we could put them to the outside of the folder. So right click, gas boilers, composite, take them to 1, out, 2, out. Views, AX slot sheet, P1 status, P2 status. Right, so now we want to do our temperature and put in our boilers on. No, we don't. We want to do our boiler supply fan is our next important thing. We don't have a boiler supply fan flow. We know that. We don't have an input for it, but I've put that in there. So, do we do it? We don't need to do proof the pumps are running and then put that on. But it probably save a little bit of money with the pump startups, but I don't think we need the primary pumps running, without a doubt. So that thing that I deleted at the end there, oh no, we can use the flow switches, one of the flows. That would proof the pump running. So we take that, put that straight into boiler supply fan. So as soon as the pumps run, we put the boiler supply fan on. Why not? And then once the boiler supply fan is proved running, which it will never be because we don't have an input for it, but I'm going to write the logic like that, we then put the boilers on, of course with the safety as well. So I'm going to take an AND gate, duplicate that, start boilers, and pin slots, open up C, flow, occupied, fault, views, AX slot sheet, enable, safety, sup, flow. All of them have got to be on before we think about starting the boilers. So now we want to take a loop. Oh, I've got a loop there. I've got a loop there. Copy. Paste. Gas heating. So our loop can be enabled. Our control variable is the minimum for temperatures, and we need a set point. waste. I'll just put LTHW, low temperature hot water at that point. Actions, well, let's see what my maximum there, we can't have that at 70, we need that higher. We normally don't go above 85. We set that at 80 for now, and the logic, and that's our set point. So if that was enabled, actions active, actions active is already occupied, that's enabled, asking for 100%. And then we use a sequencer. Sequencer linear. Put that into there. And rename enable boilers. We'll put our sequencer, we'll put, opens up some pin slots here. Delay on delay, and that's current stages, next stage. Leave that as it is, and we will have a delay of 5 minutes putting on the boiler. So we stick one boiler on, and even if the logic wants the second one on, we're still going to wait 5 minutes, but we also wait 5 minutes to turn off the boilers as well. So it's a double-ended thing there. But what we need to do is we need to tie in our safeties so that we actually put our emergency stops in there as well. So we're taking AND gate and EMB B1 and views AX slot sheet. The A is going to be enable, and that's going to be safety. So if someone does hit the emergency stop, we shut straight down. Or there's a fire alarm, if safety is wired into the fire alarm, we shut straight down. But we don't seem to have a gas valve input, so I don't know what's going to go on with that. But I've allowed for it. Duplicate B2, duplicate. In fact, I know there's lots of spare inputs here. Out A, out B, out C. Safety, safety in there, safety in there, and safety in there, into there, into there, into there. Right, that's that done. Yeah, that's that done. As soon as you get, so they're asking him to be enabled. If we emergency inactive, shut that down. These are naturally still on, as you can see. It's shutting down, but it'll be 5 minutes before that turns off, and it'll be 5 minutes before that turns off. But when we actually do an emergency stop, yeah, they're straight off naturally. Right, that is it done. That's it done for this controller. I'm doing 3 controllers on this site. Let me just show you my safety, which is simple enough. Gas valve, which we don't have a gas valve end switch, but it's still in there. All going into an AND gate. That's it, some time clocks which you've seen in the logic here. So I'm going to stop this video now and then start on the next controller. Thank you for watching.